All right, Joel Gausten here from joelgausten.com. For this conversation, I'm joined by two musicians I cannot love more. They've just put out a fantastic new album that I'm really excited to talk to them about. It's my pleasure. Joining me from Gothenburg, Sweden, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Fantastic. It's my great joy to welcome Ann-Sofie and John from Spiders. Thank you for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for
Cheers.
having us.
Oh, absolutely. Can't wait to get into this. To let the viewer know what's up with this, and as I've mentioned on this channel before, I get a lot of promos sent to me. Um, and if I'm being honest, a good 95% of them never get listened to just because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And your record showed up at a time when I had a break. So it was at the top of my inbox. I went, okay, I'll listen to it. I opened it up, I saw the cover, I went, okay, I think I might like this. I hit play, and for the next several minutes, I was listening to Hand on Heart, the finest rock album I've heard in years.
Oh,
Really? Thank you so
thank you, man.
much.
Cheers.
That's nice to
Yeah,
hear.
truly, truly. So first of all, my congratulations to you on this new album, which is called Sharp Objects. It comes out on Valentine's Day. And I'm going to be beating the drum as hard as I can to get people to check this record out. I will tell the viewer if you love bands like the Ramones, the Dead Boys, Blondie, Hawkwind, Stooges, the list goes on and on. It fits right into that world. MC5, Sonic Youth
Yay.
Band, the list goes on and on. This is the finest addition to that list I can think of at the moment. So, um, let's kind of start with the new record because I know this is album number four for you
Oh,
guys,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's been a few years, quite a few years actually, since the
Yeah, many
blank
years.
album.
7 years. Yeah.
7 years. So first of all, what accounted for that stretch of time between releases?
I think it was we released our last album, Killer Machine, in like 2018, and we did a few tours. We went to the States and did a tour with Hank von Hell from Turbo Negro,
Hmm.
and did a few other tours. And then I suppose COVID came.
Yeah, we did that. And then COVID hit.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then we had like we lost energy totally. Many bands like were very productive during the COVID time and wrote new albums and songs all the time. But we felt like we're a live band, and if we don't play live, we lose our energy. That's for true. And then we had to change a member that he didn't have time anymore. So yeah, we took time to write the new album and felt like it doesn't matter. We want something good out from this, and we love each other so much. We made Sharp Objects together and recorded, and then we found the new drummer, and now we're settled and
back on track.
back on track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the band's been around. This will be actually your 15th year as a group.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so we started
Fantastic.
like in 2010, and it was me and Ann-Sofie and the old drummer from Graveyard,
Hmm.
Swedish band.
Mm.
We started the band just for fun, really, and just to sort of hang out in the rehearsal studio and jam. And then we started writing songs and recorded an EP in like 2011. And then Axel, the drummer, left because the Graveyard became big. So we got in another drummer, Rickard, and yeah, carried on from there.
So it's a really nice journey. Like it's always been like we want to do this because it was all only for fun in the beginning, like it should be with rock and roll music, and then we just like wanted to keep on doing this thing, and yeah,
Mm.
now it's been so many years and we still love
15 years,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. I wanted to talk about the sound of this album. One thing that really impresses me is it's one of those records that sounds to me like it could have been recorded yesterday. It could have been recorded in 1982, could have been recorded in 1975. It's got this timeless quality to it. And there's a rawness to it, but there is also that sense of refinement. I'm not listening to a garage demo, but at the same time, it's not this uber produced slick. It's got just enough of everything to make it work. Um, so I want to talk about the recording process for you. Did you have any particular idea as far as how this would sonically turn out going into this recording, or was it a matter of just where the band was at the time and the songs you were coming up with?
I suppose it was both. It was like our last album, Killer Machine, was quite produced and quite um, yeah, very produced, and we wanted to get back to the roots again. And the songs we're writing for Sharp Objects was more garagey and punky, and felt they needed that sort of more raw sound, really, I suppose. So yeah, we did have that in mind when we recorded.
Mm. And also, I'm so glad to hear that you can hear that, because we really worked with great people that we said, like, I mean, that we sound like old bands. That's because we listen a lot to that, but we don't want to be like looking back all the time. We're like living now, so we want something fresh, but still like timeless, organic sound. And I think we did a great job together with Chips Keesby, who produced and recorded the album. You know that guy? He worked a lot with Helicopters and
Sure.
Nomads and stuff like that. And we chose the best guy to mix the album, and he worked a lot with the Viagra Boys and bands like that, and it all fit together so well.
You mentioned the Helicopters, and I've known from following the Swedish scene as much as possible for years now. There is just a vibrant scene in general out there. Tons of bands coming out. I don't think I've heard a band from Sweden I haven't liked that have hit, my radar. So, it reminds me a bit of like Birmingham. Like if a metal band's from Birmingham, the chances are they're not going to stink. They're going to be okay. So,
Yeah,
having obviously come up in that scene in Sweden, what do you think it is particularly about that place in the world, the culture out there that seems to generate, what's largely been a very consistently strong, you know, world of rock and roll?
yeah,
I mean, I can't really. I mean, you live in the part of the world where we like getting our influences from. So for me, I'm so glad to hear like, and I've heard it a lot, like people like Swedish bands, and I don't know. I mean, it's so much time here because it's dark 6 months a year, so you don't have nothing to do. But still, I can't. I don't know. I think
yeah,
it's many great bands from Sweden too. So
yeah. But I think you only need a few people to influence others. Like in my hometown, Örebro, in the when I was growing up, there's like two older people who had all these great records and that, and they sort of influence others and to start bands and listen to this sort of music. And I think it just sort of spreads in a way. Just need
yeah, that's true.
a few people to be able to influence others, and I think that's what's happened a lot in Sweden because
Yeah, and then actually we're so lucky to get how do you say, like money from the states to get like a rehearsal studio, and we got a lot of help from the government to create music. It's
mm,
I mean, now it's getting bad here as well as everywhere in the whole world with the politics, but we always been lucky in Sweden that we got, since we were young, like getting help with the rehearsal studios and stuff like that, and that helps a lot when you're young and you want to play music.
Yeah, I could imagine. I wish we had that in the States.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. I
yeah,
talked to so many younger girls in Spain and America and all over the world, like, how can you afford like a rehearsal studio? And I'm like, oh, I realized we are so lucky here in Sweden. I never paid so much money for that. Like, we always got help with that.
Yeah, you always get help. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a big
that was a
thing to
big.
mention too, I think.
Yeah, when we were growing up and teenagers, and yeah, there's all these. Yeah, it's really
But then we
good.
have the forest and I mean, everything here is pretty rock and roll. How you live your life.
Excellent. I wanted to get into a couple of particular songs on the record, and I'll preface this by saying this is not hyperbole. I mean this from the heart. When I think about the classic rock songs or punkish rock songs in history, the ones that we all refer to as classics, undisputably so. Sonic Producer, City Slang, Born to Lose, one way or another, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Truly, I would add Sweet Boy to that list off this new
Oh,
album.
Oh,
really?
really?
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
Oh,
it
that was
is
the nicest
an
thing I've ever heard.
absolutely perfect song. It checks all the boxes. It just I can't overstate how much I think that's a fantastic song. Um, Walk me through that one in particular. How did that one come to be? Because it's got a lot of interesting elements to it. I hear some 60s in there. I hear, Mamas and the Papas floating around perhaps in the background in front of this raging rock and roll song. So tell me a bit about
Yeah, it's so cool with that song Sweet Boy because I think it's got so much in it, like a part in it. It's like almost Ronettes or Shirelles of the Shangri-Las, and then it's like more
Yeah, Ramones,
Ramones,
Dead Boys.
yeah. So it's got so many influences in that we all in the band likes in one song. So I like that song very much myself because it's
But I suppose, like the Ramones, they were listening to the Ronettes and stuff themselves. So that's what, um, how, yeah, I suppose that's why as soon as you play electric guitar, then it becomes the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
as somebody who studies songwriting a lot and a songwriter myself, there are some things I listen to and I'm like, oh, I wish they would have gone there with it. Or I
All
wish
right.
they would have taken a left turn when they went right. I listen to Sweet Boy and I'm like, they're gonna go there. And they went there. Like it's structured so perfectly. I'm like, yes, they're hitting all the beats, like it's right where it
That's
yes,
needs to
cool.
be. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm in my home office here when that record, comes on and I'm bouncing around, I'm like so
Oh,
excited. I'm like, this song is just exactly what it needs to be.
oh.
The other song on the record, I mean, first of all, let me say every song on this record could be a single. I know that was the cliche back in the 80s, every song has got to be a single.
Mhm.
You've got a video coming out, which we'll get to in a minute, but every track could be its own standalone single. I mean, it's that powerful start to finish. But Fun in the Sun is the other song that really, really stood out above for me.
Oh,
Um,
okay, cool.
so, that one I think in particular has that, if I were to put a stamp on that California 60s, Mamas and the Papas,
Mm.
Shangri-Las, there's a lot of that in there too. So, I guess to kind of, put a question to it, um, how strong are the influences from, what was happening, say, on the West Coast of America in the late 60s for you?
I mean, huge.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, I mean, we started from for me I started as I said with the New York scene with Dead Boys, Dictators, Stooges, Blondie, all that kind of stuff, but I also had like all the, as you said, Mamas and the Papas and Zombies and all that kind of band with the melodies and the backing vocals that really, yeah, I love that so much. And also like the old R&B stuff. And yeah, so I think we got through all the
Yeah,
periods of music with
yeah. I suppose it's a big mix in a way, but yeah, Fun in the Sun was. I suppose it's. I was listening a lot to the Stranglers, the English band as well,
Hmm.
and uh, yeah, and yeah, I suppose this, yeah, 60s West Coast, and yeah, it's been a big influence about everything. Yeah, so
Absolutely. And I want to make the point too for those who are watching this. This album isn't contrived or a retread in any way. I get a lot of records who are kind of this style as well, and I think, they're just kind of painting by numbers here. I don't get a sense of that when I listen to your record. I can hear
No.
the influences, but influences don't mean anything unless you take it somewhere else. And I think
Mm.
you've done that brilliantly on this record. You sound
Thank
like
you.
spiders. As much as I can hear the other things in there, you sound very much like yourselves. And of course, if I haven't been clear about it already, I love the sound of the band. And you do have a video coming out, and this video may come out a little bit past when we're recording it because I want to kind of time it to be most effective to help promote the album. But you have
Mm.
a
Thank
video coming out on the 31st of
you. Mm,
Yeah.
January,
yeah.
which is either has either just been released or will be coming out soon, depending on when this posts.
Yeah.
But the video is for the single "Mess with My Emotions."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know on your Facebook, for example, we've got a couple of teasers for that video. Looks very cool. Not to give too much of the store away, you know, and revealing too much. What can you tell me about the video, beyond what's already been posted online?
I mean, now we're in America. We can we were really like wanted to be like an American high school prom.
Yeah.
What can you say? Like,
Yeah, it's quite the high school sort of with the colours and everything, and at the same time being quite sinister, like a clockwork orange type of feel about it, which
Hmm.
I think, well, I hope we've been able to do. But yeah.
yeah. And I think the funny mix in this song and the video together is like I was pretty influenced by like Rod Stewart, the early phases when I did the melody of the vocals, and the song is the song, and then the video, everything fits together like in a funny way. Like if you get it, you get it, and otherwise you can enjoy like nice colors in for us a dark January.
Yeah, fantastic. I'll make sure the link to the videos in this one,
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
cool.
I'll
Thank you.
probably wait until it's out to again give this a little bit of a push for the album as well. Um, but you mentioned America, and I know you've played here in the past, correct?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
What are your plans moving forward to return to the States at this point?
I mean, we've been to the States twice, two big tours, but it wasn't our tours. It was support
Mhm.
tours, Graveyard and Hang von Hell, as we said. And of course, we want to come back. That's our dream for us in Sweden. We think you're the best in music and everything, and we love to go there. But it's so big and so hard to get there. And if you go as a little band, you have to travel like so many hours every day. So we want to grow slowly and do it in a smart way. But we're looking forward so much to come to you again
Mm,
because as you talk now, everybody have such a good taste in music and connect in a nice way. Like you really know your history in music and where we are from with our music. So it fits so well. And yeah, that's the nicest tour memories ever.
yeah. Yeah. The States has always been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come back
excellent.
soon. Mm.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back. As we were saying before I started recording, there's a lot of connections between the American scene and what's happening in Sweden. I know, for example, my old fellas, Electric Frankenstein, we're tight with the Helicopters as one
Mm.
example. So there's a lot of commonality between both crowds. So it'd be wonderful to have you back, especially in support of this record.
Yeah.
I think right now, I mean, the timing is perfect. As you said, we had the whole COVID thing, and obviously bands put out albums during that time. Some succeeded more than others, but I think now there's a real hunger for things,
Mhm.
particularly in the States because of what's happening politically. We'll call
Mm.
it that. I think people want to kind of put their hair down a little more than they have, and are
Yeah,
looking for
we
new
need that.
sounds.
Mm.
That's the
Yeah.
most important thing we got is culture and music. I mean, you can't live without it. And now when it's like a pretty rough time to live in, you really need to go out and have fun and listen to music and come together and feel like people aren't that bad, and we have something in common. It doesn't matter if what you're voting for or what you're coming from. Like when you're in the audience or on stage and together with the audience, we're all connected, and that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The rock and rollers.
well, yeah, I mean, people can disagree about just about anything, but no one's going to disagree on Sonic Reducer or
Ain't no
Pop.
loser.
You know, there are some things like, okay, we're cool no matter what. Like anybody can agree on that stuff, you know. And frankly,
Yeah.
what's more important than that?
No, we got everything, like the heart.
Absolutely. So I know there are, hopeful plans to come out to the States. As far as what is known at this point, obviously the new album comes out on Valentine's Day. It's the start of a new year. What are the more solid plans for the band moving forward in 2025?
Yeah, we've got some release shows coming up when we release the album in Stockholm and Gothenburg. We've got a tour with the Datsuns, the New Zealand band, in Holland. We've got doing some support shows with the Helicopters in a few weeks.
Yeah, so we got so much stuff going on right now. So we felt like now it's the best time for Spiders because we got everything before, vad heter det? Framför oss.
In front of us.
In front of us. And yeah, so many nice shows and and to play the new songs live and hopefully we got some festivals in the summer in Spain and Germany and stuff like that in later and yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, let's stay in touch because I know Sal from Electric Frankenstein is pretty locked into what's happening in the States. If he or I could be of any help to you, I'm sure we'll be first in line to do so. So, we'll
Thank you.
Thank you. And I wanted to see you live again, and now when you're in the band again, it's so nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely recording some of the next record. With those guys, it kind of comes when it comes, whoever happens to be in the room is going to be in the band. But yeah, I'd love to connect with you, whether it's through those guys or, some other opportunity. Because like I said, I love this album. I'm thrilled to be able to spread the word. Any American music fan of this style needs this album in their collection. This is essential listening. It's going to be a long walk to the end of this year, but I'm almost tempted to call it album of the year right now.
Well, thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Where do you live in America?
I'm sorry?
Where do you live in America?
I live in New England. I live up in currently snowy New Hampshire.
Oh, okay, so you got the same as us.
Yeah. So we look for music up here. It's a little less common than I suspect it is for you. So when something cool comes in, I jump on it immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've been listening to your record almost every day since receiving it, multiple times actually. So I don't see that changing this year. And if you're not going to be album of the year, it's got to be something amazing beyond that. But I doubt that's going to happen. So I'm ready. I'm calling it right now. This is the album of 2020. We're done.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna listen to Electric Frankenstein tonight.
Right on. Great talking to you both. Again, my congratulations on the album. I really look forward to crossing paths with you when you hit the States. I hope that happens very soon. And until we talk again, all the very best to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, have a nice weekend. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, keep in touch.
My pleasure.